not sure how well this is going to show up on camera, but I went ahead and traced out the pattern, the template, onto a piece of 3/4 inch MDF. I also ripped it down to width, and when I did that, on the top side up here, I put our 12-degree bevel. That just saved me a step for the center section. Now what we're going to do is cut out the side here and this side piece, and the reason why is we need to form a cap for it that will tie into the existing transom that is approximately the thickness that we need it. Down here I put this on, the bottom part on for reference, but we're not going to cut it. We're actually going to do our layup probably all the way almost to this edge and then trim it to fit later on, since we don't need that return edge, since the bottom and the sides will actually form that for us. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this out. Not too much real tricky about this. We are going to double up the thickness of the edge though, and I'll show you that here in a minute also before I cut it out. I just flipped over our mold piece 180 degrees, just flipped it right side up, so what was the top is now down here. And before I did that, I drilled, let's see if you can see that, some little reference holes at 4 points, 2 more like that on the other side, and I've aligned the pattern with that. And you'll notice that I've turned the pattern upside down also. That's because there is a left and right, and I have labeled port and starboard. So what we're going to do now is I've traced this out, the approximate location. This isn't critical, but we're actually going to screw some blocking on the back side so we get a full 1.5 inch thickness out of this. One other thing to note, let's see if I can zoom in here. You'll notice that the edge of our cardboard doesn't align with the edge of the MDF, and that is because of the fact that this is cut at that 12-degree angle. So anyhow, like I said, put this on for reference. We'll screw some blocks on, and the back side, that just gives me some layout lines, and then we'll actually cut the rest of the top of the transom out, and the remainder will give us 1.5 inches of thickness on this edge that we're trying to build up. Okay, I've kind of roughly placed the pattern on top of the blocking, and basically what we did was, now we have 2 layers, so that when I cut this line along here and this line along here, we'll have a full 1.75 inches. I also took some scraps and put on the bottom side, just kind of randomly placed them. All that is basically to support the back half of it, so that when we turn it over, everything sits flat. So now I've got to flip it over, cut the top half out, and then we'll be off to the next step. One thing I didn't mention is this transom actually has a thicker center section than it does on the 2 sides. So there's yet another piece that we'll put on the top. That one's actually probably the easiest, but anyhow, not too bad. About 1.5 hours into it, so see if we can wrap this up. Okay, I've got the rough shape cut out, all except these corners. Cutting these out is a little bit of a trick, because on the top edge we've got a bevel. On the sides this is cut at 90 degrees. So as you go around this corner, this is a constantly changing angle. So the only way I know to do this is with the belt sander, and that'll be close enough for what we're doing here. I don't know, there's probably someone's figured out a way to do it with a router jig or something, but I think it's way beyond what we're doing. So now what I need to do is build up the center section another 1/2 inch, and went out and dug around and found this. It's a little bit rough, but all we need is something 1/2 inch thick, so I think it'll work. Okay, I went ahead and put on the 1/2 inch plywood piece. I cut it square, which didn't work right here, so what I did was I just ripped down a little triangular piece and brad nailed it in there, which worked out fine. Went ahead and sanded down the corners, and if you'll notice right here, I took a cove bit and radiused the edges on everything. So pretty happy with that. The only thing that really is left at this point is to fill in this corner. And I'm just going to do that with a little bit of Bondo and some sandpaper. I was going to do that tonight so it could dry, but I figured out I got to climb over a bunch of junk to get to the Bondo. So, which tells me 2 things. 1, I need to clean the shop, and 2, this isn't going to happen until tomorrow because it's getting late. I'm kind of tired. it's time for eating dinner. As far as time goes, probably got about 4.5 hours in this. Actually ended up having to stop in the middle of the day to run some errands. So not too bad. We're almost there. Probably another hour or so in the morning, and we'll be ready to lay the glass up, which shouldn't take very long at all. So almost there.